Okay, so this is my latest project. It's a Suzuki DT25 from 1987. It's had a few issues. It was cheap, obviously, as everything is that I buy, but it's got potential. It's got really good compression. When I got it, it had no spark. And I've actually made another video about how to fix a CDI, which is essentially just throw it in the oven. I think it was about 170 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, and that worked perfectly. So went from no spark to performing perfectly fine. So after testing it, I found it would idle fine, it would run at full speed fine, and then all of a sudden it would just cut out at full speed. And so I could start it again at idle and it would idle fine. I could get it up to a third throttle and it'd be fine. And then as I accelerated up to full speed, it would cut out and die. So clearly something was blocking the main jet. It has an inline fuel filter, and it also has a mesh just with the fuel pump, and both of them were clear, and they're actually really fine mesh, so I didn't expect much to be inside of this. But obviously something was blocking it, and just intermittently, because every now and then I could pull the choke and sort of pull the choke in and out as I was accelerating, and it would give it bursts of fuel while I had the throttle more open than it would normally let me ride, basically, and it would come right. So pull whatever was blocking it through, and then it would work fine again. I could rev up to full throttle and might get 10 minutes use out of it, and then it would block up again. So yeah, there's obviously something in there that's blocking it. Now, I've had this apart already, so I know what it is. All the jets were actually clear. I blew some air through them anyway, but they're all clear. There's one on the top, there's one inside. I'll just show you when I pulled the bowl off. It's got a lip around it that actually sits over the bowl. That's kind of annoying because I didn't want to break the gasket because this is an old motor and I'm in New Zealand. It's hard to find parts even from new motors, let alone really old things. So I really didn't want to break the gasket, and normally I'd sort of maneuver it so it pops, and then I'd work a screwdriver around the side. So the gasket's usually stuck to either side, and I'd just lever it off as I work my way around with a flat screwdriver or something and just gently work it off. But as you can see, it's got to move a fair bit before it actually gets off. The only way I was able to get it, you can sort of see better there actually, there's a recess. So it's got to lift all the way to there before you can get a screwdriver under it and work your way around. So by that time it had already come off. But luckily I was able to get it all the way off without damaging that gasket. So I'm fairly confident that it's going to seal up again. There might just be a little bit of cleaning around there. It's just hard to see in the video, but it's just a bit of gunk on the gasket. It's not actually a damaged gasket. But the rest of it seems fine, so it should all clean up and reseal. Okay, so inside the carburetor, I've already pulled the jet out. There's the bottom jet. I was just inspecting them. They're all nice and clean. You might be able to see through it. Yep, there it is. Nice and clean. So that wasn't too bad of an issue. The issue is obviously this. So I was wondering how things got in there, but it's not that anything got in. It's obviously just old fuel. It's turned to that greeny yellow varnish on the bottom of the bowl. And then I'll try and get a close up. You can see the varnish is actually cracking. And then flakes of it come off. And they have been pulled through the jets. And so they block it up, and some fuel's probably still just seeping past them, and they probably dissolve eventually, and that's why it comes clear after a few minutes of me mucking around, giving it choke and whatnot. And then it might go fine for 10 minutes, and then it'll pick up another one. One of these will float around and get picked up, and then blocked again. So you can see it straight away. That's obviously my issue. It's just all this junk, powdery, fairly sizable chunks. They will quite easily block up a hole that size. Small. Yeah, can't really see it, but yeah, it'll easily block that hole. So that's my issue. I'm just gonna use some carburetor cleaner to dissolve all this. I'll clean it all out, and then I'm actually gonna wash the outside of this carburetor because it is hideous. I'm not gonna make you sit through me washing this. All I'm gonna use is this laundry detergent, warm water, and a toothbrush. I might use the picture of this clean as the thumbnail so you get to see what it looks like when it's finished. But currently it is horrible. I checked the float height and it's all working correctly. Gets to about there, I can feel it engaging. So I'm happy with that. I had no issues with the float. It was giving me fuel and going through the revs fine until it would block. Yeah, otherwise everything works fine, so I'll clean it and reassemble it. Hopefully this gives you a bit of confidence to crack open your own carburetors yourself. They're not difficult, they're all a similar principle. They just have a float inside of a bowl and a couple jets, and they pick up fuel and they mix it with the air. Easy. Nothing to be scared of, just crack into it. Just make sure before you do that you can actually get gaskets. And if you can't, maybe just find another method. But yeah, have a go.